Hey guys, Nick from Security Pros. Today we're going to set up basic motion detection on our SureVision system. First, let's head to the main menu. From here, we're going to go to the Storage tab on the left. And inside of the Storage tab, we're going to select the Recording tab at the top. First thing we're going to do inside of here is select which camera you'd like to configure motion detection for. For my application here, I'm just going to select camera number 1. We also want to make sure schedule is enabled at the top. Pre-record and post-record are pre-configured for you, but you're more than welcome to change the interval. I'm just going to leave them at the default settings here. Below that, we have our schedule settings for camera number 1. This schedule is set to record 24 hours a day, every single day of the week. And each square on this timeline, it represents 1 hour of scheduled recording. And you can confirm that it's 24/7 recording by the color legend on the right side of the screen. If you don't wish to configure motion detection and simply want to stick with 24/7 continuous recording, there's no need to follow this guide any further. Each camera that gets connected to a SureVision system will automatically record continuously unless otherwise specified in this menu. But for this video, we are going to proceed with motion detect configuration. And there are 2 ways to configure motion. And the first way is to click on this Edit button on the right side above the color legend. From here, we can select which day of the week we'd like to schedule motion detection for. For my configuration, I'm going to make sure all day is selected to set up all hours of the day at once. And below, you're going to find a 0 to 24-hour timeline. If we want to alternate between continuous and motion recording, we could do that by entering the exact times we want to schedule that change. This camera is currently set to normal, or in other words, continuous recording. And we want to set this to motion. Now you can copy this configuration to certain days of the week, but for my setup, I'm just going to configure all days for motion. And click OK when you've set your parameters. And you'll notice that your schedule has turned completely green as opposed to the original blue. This indicates that my configuration for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I'm set for motion recording only. And apply to set the camera to motion. You may want to copy this config to multiple cameras by clicking the copy button towards the bottom. I mentioned there was another way to set up motion, and I'll show you that now. Take note of the text below the schedule. If you click on motion on the right side, and you bring your mouse cursor back over to the schedule, you can click each block to change certain times to motion, as opposed to continuous recording. You can also hold your mouse click down, and drag the cursor across the schedule, and that'll select multiple blocks at once. You can apply these changes once they look good. And you may want to copy your config to any channels you'd like. Now, I only have 1 camera attached, so I'm going to hold off on that. Let's exit and test our configuration out. You'll notice at the top right corner of the camera window, there's no record icon and there's no motion icon. That means motion detection is most likely working, but we should still test to confirm it. I'm going to wave my hand in front of the camera to trigger motion. Great. You'll see the motion icon pop up, and then the record icon pops up right after. That's what we're looking for. I want to show one last section, and this is an optional step, but it could come in handy. We can actually configure some advanced motion detection features, so let's head back to the main menu, and let's go to the Alarm tab on the left, and then the Motion tab towards the top. First, let's select which camera you want to change the settings for. Let's enable it at the top. Inside of here, you can deselect regions that could potentially trigger excessive amounts of motion. Trees in the wind, roadways, or other active areas where you wouldn't want to trigger recordings. You can also adjust the sensitivity of these regions. The higher the number, the more sensitive. The lower the number, the less sensitive. We can trigger certain actions a local alarm, send an email, or pop up a window when motion occurs. And we can also schedule when you'd like to arm the trigger actions inside of the arming schedule. When you're all done here, be sure to apply any changes you may have made. And that's it. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and if you run into anything at all, don't hesitate to reach out for assistance.